All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Global Expansion Team Zoom. We have Dr. Carolyn Hoffman with us tonight. She's going to be talking about the Asea Via line. Dr. Hoffman's a naturopath. She's built a diamond business in Asea, and she's on the Asea Medical Professional Board. She's got incredible insight into the nutrients of the Asea Via line. So we're going to learn a ton tonight. And it's important because, yes, we have the only signaling product in the world, and that's a very key component of missing link for a lot of people. But there's a million supplements on the market, and nutrition is extremely important as well. And so Dr. Hoffman's going to talk to us tonight about why the nutritional elements in the Asea Via line is so potent and so important. So Carolyn, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Hey, you're welcome. Super excited, especially if there's any new people and who are not really familiar with, the details of our Asea Via and what makes it so important. You mentioned a really important piece, Cindy. The notion that nutrients are necessary, and we often talk about the fact that vitamins and minerals, were really a discovery of the last century. They were cutting edge way back then, but they're in and of themselves, they're not cutting edge any longer. Where we're dealing in this field of redox is really, the leading edge. But we can throw all of the extra redox at the system that we want. But if we don't have the materials on which they work, which is the nutrients, which either comes from our food, which we all know cannot possibly provide us what we need any longer because we're over-farmed, over-processed, so much of it is just really poor quality, even if it's organic, because it travels too long, loses its energy and its potency. It may not have as many pesticides and things, but we need to plug the gap with nutrients from really high class quality products. And that isn't a given. Just because they're out there doesn't mean that they're all wonderful, and they're not all equal. And so I want to share a little bit tonight about, what makes these ones particularly important. Definitely designed with the redox compatibility in mind. We want to start by saying everything that's in these products, the body knows how to use, because we start and we use only whole food, organic, real food ingredients. That's what our body's designed to deal with. It's not designed to take a synthetic. So we need to give it what it knows how to use and utilize easily without stressing the system. So our products are all based on whole food ingredients. They're organic, they're non-GMO, there's no soy in there. And with the exception of omega, and I'll talk about why we chose to use fish, they are also vegan. So let's talk about what is an important piece about ingredients as a whole. I mentioned whole food versus synthetic. Our body can't actually do anything with synthetics. And so the difference is that the whole foods are bioavailable. They are the food that our body is designed to function on. So the body knows what to do with it. And it doesn't become a negative form of nutrition, which is what synthetics are. So when you feed your body a synthetic version of a vitamin C, for example, ascorbic acid, it's made and derived from corn, and it's also a lot of other challenges. It's not a normal vitamin C. The body looks at it, doesn't really know what to do with it, tries to utilize it, but it becomes like drawing from your pantry. It takes stuff out of you to deal with it, and it still ultimately doesn't really nourish the body. High-grade sourcing and a variety of foods is also an important piece. Just because we have on a label all sorts of things doesn't mean that, let's talk about a bilberry or a blueberry, for example. There's a whole range of variety of quality of blueberry, right? From non-organic to organic, from freshly bought off the farm and full of energy to something that's been sitting around for months on end and has been traveling everywhere. So high grade sourcing is also important, and the company does a lot of that. They've gone all over the place to find the very best ingredients for each of those choices, which are going to provide us with the energy and the resources to really utilize them, that help us build healthy cells. Frequency of food, really, again, high quality, not old food, high quality, grown beautifully, nourished in its growing process so that it's full of a lot of nutrients, because that's cellular energy. plenty of people might be confronted with people who say, well, you know, why I can go and get these on Costco or Sam's Club or somewhere or Walmart, right? And it doesn't cost me X and yours costs so and so. Well, what's the difference? You know, I love this visual, right? Every single one of these trains that comes in and out the subways looks the same on the outside, really no different. Capsules look the same on the outside. Products can look the same on the outside, but it's what's inside that matters. If you don't have a product that's made to the same standard as ours are, which are what we call GMP, good manufacturing procedures, that's equal to how we make our redox. Third-party standards, clinical study standards. In other words, what you're buying is what you get. Now, you might say, well, isn't that the same if I go to Costco? No, it's not the same, because unless you manufacture to those standards, the only guideline that the FDA has is that 60% of what's on a label is actually in the bottle, not in the capsules, but in the bottle. So I want to show you that if you were to look inside a capsule, this is probably what it looks like when you've got maybe some ingredients in one and not in another. But when we manufacture to our standards, they're jam-packed, right? 98 to 103% of what's on the label is guaranteed to be in every single capsule. That makes a huge difference. So let's talk about, sorry, you got a question.
I was just going to say, Carolyn, because if you have a packed, you know, you have this packed terminal like you're showing here, it's also not packed with fillers either, is it? I mean, it's really packed with really key ingredients, right?
Yeah, fillers are huge because they pack those things in there. It doesn't, and that's why if you test all those cheaper vitamins, first off, they're probably synthetics. There's a lot of synthetics in there. And as you say, they pack in a lot of the fillers, but so it doesn't mean that there's effective quantities of anything in those supplements. So we're manufacturing at these really high standards. So we're guaranteeing that what's going to come into the body is going to be really valuable to the body and give us a good outcome. And it's not full of all of those fillers that, you know, make the products cheap. A love source, right? Some people might think of it as the multivitamin. I don't think of it as that because I kind of think that's an old-fashioned word, all right? But it's a whole food micronutrient complex. Complex is cool. Complex is because it is complex. It's got all sorts of amazing things in there. This is the equivalent of what we got in this product. 2 cups of fresh organic fruits, 1 cup of sea vegetables, 1 cup of leafy green salads, 4 ounces of different grass juices, over 20 bioavailable food-based vitamins and minerals, plus the healthy oils that we all need that so many people cut out of their diets and are absolutely essential if you want to deliver fat soluble vitamins. If we don't have the fats in the system, our body can't make use of those things like the A, D, and the K. You know, we've got to have those in there. If you sat down and tried to buy all of these foods, right, you're going to spend an awful lot more than what is actually in here. Plus, I don't think we have the time to sit and digest all of that food anyway. I mean, you know, we're all in this fast food kind of movement anyway as a lifestyle. So that's why so much is missing. We just don't, we don't provide ourselves and can't eat as much as we need. So this is a beautifully complex way, and it replaces all those nutrients that are really not in our food, even if you're eating organically. The key thing is that the minerals are missing from so many foods. And if we don't have those minerals, and ours have land and sea minerals, so a beautiful variety there, the body can't make those vitamins bioavailable without the minerals. So those are really essential. And this is just a beautiful product. Let's look at what makes it unique. Some of that is the manufacturing method, this glycoprotein ferment mix. What the heck is that? Right? When they first brought it to market, I had to look it up because it was actually cutting edge industry ways of growing. What it is using a medium. If you think of the soil that our food should be growing in, the soil should be taking up all those nutrients from really good soil. Our soil's deficient. So we look at new approaches in industry is to take mediums like high density nutritional yeast and actually grow our products on that, because they suck up and they absorb and then they become much denser as a result of what they can donate to us in that product. So this is one of the ways that we do this. We have, as I said, meticulous sourcing. Each nutrient is going to include things like the calcium and the magnesium for red algae in the sea. I mean, that is, a really great thing. Vitamin B complex, I don't think people realize how important this is. And it's all from whole foods. It's not a list of synthetic vitamins. You're actually getting it from the way the body knows how to absorb them. Holy basil is an amazing plant in itself. This is in Hindu culture, it's considered like the mother of all foods because it has phenomenal benefits for health. So they put together this beautiful combination of holy basil and lemon and guava to really provide those complex vitamin Bs that we need. So many things are missing. If you're on a lot of supplements, for example, you're probably going to be vitamin B deficient because they eat up vitamin B. So vitamin B, but a complex is the most important, not single ones. When we do vitamin B, it's important to put the complex together. If you're boosting single ones, make sure behind it you always have a complex B supplement because the body isn't really designed to just take in one of them. It works like a family. It has to come together. And these superfoods, these are the most the polyphenols that are really like the master tanks. They get in there and they do all these phenomenal things for the body in terms of protecting it against combating oxidation and inflammation and all of the degradation that goes with that. Certified organic, most nutrient dense foods that have been chosen, and because they're going to help us protect, detect, repair, and replace in the same way that the redox does. So there's this beautiful synergy between them. Great product, right? Biome. Look at all the things it does. I mean, I was just going through the list of it and thinking the fact that, we're going to soothe that digestive system. We're going to support, and these are all, and I'll kind of hint on, so we go through these and point them out, that these are official statements that we are able to speak about our product in this way. These are the approved phrases that are given to our product. So you can be completely compliant if you talk about these benefits with people. Soothing the digestive system, supporting a healthy immune system, aiding in mental well-being. Why is that, right? Because the gut and the brain are connected. And if you have a gut that is dysfunctional, you are going to have a brain that is dysfunctional, right? We always talk about leaky gut, leaky brain. They go together. And so rebuilding that gut integrity and building the defense mechanism that the gut provides for us is going to spin off and actually improve the way that we can feel about life. Think about the serotonin. If we look at the ERG2 in our redox, right? We've got the serotonin is that first pathway. Why? Because the gut produces about 70 to 80% of our serotonin. So when our gut is disrupted, the feel-good hormone, which protects and supports the brain, is also disrupted. Helps to support the healthy inflammatory response. This is key to everything, right? Inflammation creates disease, disease promotes inflammation. It's this circular process. So everything that we can do to target and support from different ways is really going to help us. Assimilates vitamins and minerals. Remember, it's not just what we eat, but what we assimilate that will help us build those cells. So you can consume nutrients, especially with poor quality nutrients. It doesn't mean that it's getting to the tissue and helping us at all. Supports health response to stress. How many people have stress? We're all looking at the cell performance mood, but here's another way to support stress from a different direction. Maintaining healthy lipid levels. That's important in the cardiovascular. Supports healthy metabolism and healthy BMI. In brackets, I put keto effect. If you do some research on what is part of what's in here, it actually does have a ketonic effect, and that I think is why we support that BMI piece. So if you've got people who are really focused on keto diets, etc., this is going to be a supportive product for that. Again, no soy, dairy, eggs, fish, shellfish, or gluten. And this one is cute because it doesn't require refrigeration. Lots of biome products, lots of probiotic products do. This one does not, and that's because it's about the way in which it's manufactured. So what's unique? 16 probiotic strands. The variety of probiotics are what is needed for health, because not everything is going to be targeted by one particular probiotic. So we need variety. All of those things like medications, toxins, pesticides, illness, and city water will disrupt probiotics in the body, so good reason. 2.3 billion CFUs, colony forming units. That's the way we measure probiotic activity. What does that mean for us? No belly bomb, right? A lot of these products, when they have masses and masses in there, can be very disruptive to the gut and actually cause a lot of discomfort. So it's gentle and appropriate, but effective. Everything that's underlined is, again, approved phrases that we can use about these products and what they do. So we have prebiotics, we have fructoolisaccharides, which fertilize the colon and help promote prebiotic and probiotic. We have xyloolisaccharides that increases our natural probiotic level inside and supports balance. We have galactoolisaccharides, and that increases those two particular probiotics, the bifidus and the lacto. But it also reduces bad bacteria and endotoxins, can be really supportive for people who've got those challenges and are way out of balance. Slippery elm. This does a whole bunch of things. It's a fabulous, fabulous herb, been around for a long time, right? Improves the gut integrity. That's an important. If you've got people who've got those leaky gut situations, a lot of those disrupted, irritated colon problems, this is going to be a really important piece. Supports digestion as the protective layer, which actually adheres and keeps those probiotics attached to that intestinal wall, so they'll hang around longer and they'll have a much longer outcome. Yep, Nora, in terms of the GERD as well, but that's if we're working up through the gut as a whole, you're going to see that kind of thing change, because all of the, think of the gut as starting in the mouth and the ending at the other end, right? It's a continuous how we think of it, like a conveyor belt, right? And any kind of disruption is going to affect things, but also if you can improve the gut at any point, you're going to influence the whole of the gut. So it's not just an isolated area. And just for those of you who love to see, you just might want to take a photo of this. This is all of the probiotics that are in there, all 16 of them. I'll just hold it for a second more, because I'm sure there's probably going to want people who want to take a photo of that. So let's look at countering the effects of oxidization on our cells. And omega, to me, are a staple just as much as our multivitamin might be a staple. This is necessary for everybody nowadays. Why? Because we have so much omega-6s in our diets from either food or processed food, which is creating in itself an imbalance and also promotes inflammation. So we have to really offset that, and the balance between omega-3s and 6s has changed dramatically over the last 20 or 30 years because our inflammatory levels are going up so much as a community. So these are the things that we can say: supports cardiovascular health, supports brain health, it's created from a sustainable wild source. Now, we chose to use the fish, so that's why it's not vegan. Why? Because they eat krill. Krill is their food source, and rather than deplete the food source for the fish, we felt this was a more sustainable way to support us in getting high quality omegas from an amazing choice of fish in a very, very pristine area. Part of the manufacturing that makes a difference is that they take that and they start harvesting it immediately. That reduces oxidation. If you know much about the omega industry, most of it is harvested, put into barrels, and then transported for long periods of time. Then people buy quantities of it, and the purity depends upon how much money the companies put into refining the toxins that are in there. All right, so that's an important piece. If you get a cheap fish oil, it's probably because the company hasn't really spent much money in getting rid of things like heavy metals and stuff that's in that we don't want in these. We have amazing standards, no fishy taste, after fishy taste, which everybody hates. This is beautiful. This is also made from natural triglycerides. That's what omega-3s are, and they are the form that our body can use and combat the unnatural triglyceride elevation that a lot of people see in blood issues. So this is in a way that the body knows what to do with it. We also meet rigorous standards for environmental contaminants and also responsible farming. What makes it unique? the fact that we have the ratio of the EPA and the DHA, those omega-3s, in the natural kind of ratio that the body knows how to actually aid and support our absorption of our food. Omega-5s are an unusual omega. You don't see that in a lot of them. This one comes from pomegranate seeds. Everything that's underlined are statements that you can make about these products, right? And I've kind of thrown a few other things in there to tell you the power of what they are. The omega-5s, interestingly, promotes the enzymes that populate and increase glutathione, SOD, and catalase. Hello, do we recognize that from what we do with redox, right? If people understand it, this actually speaks to the development of botanicals and nutraceuticals in our cell performance, right? Taking things that trigger and dock to create redox signals. We've been doing it in the Asea Via, even though we haven't really been talking about it in the same way, which is why it's synergistic with our redox product as well. Omega-5s naturally, as a product, will help to maintain healthy inflammatory response and skin. Very important for skin. There's tons of studies out there on the use of omega-5s for skin. A lot of stuff's coming out of Mexico in terms of liver alcohol enzymes and being able to do things with that. Omega-7s from buck sea thorn, that's an amazing source, supports normal glucose and HDL levels. That source, sea buckthorn, is very high in A, C, K, and E as a vitamin source, very high in minerals as well. So again, that's a really important piece in helping us really absorb and utilize our nutrition. Astaxanthin from algae oil, again, it's a powerful antioxidant. If you see that we're hitting all these antioxidants from different ways here to combine to help us support keeping on top of inflammatory response and protect us. Again, astaxanthin does the same thing, again, promotes those antioxidant enzymes of glutathione, catalase, and SOD. So we can do so much to support ourselves in so many ways. And again, that is really important in maintaining healthy skin. So we look at the skin product, but how many people think of actually doing skin work by actually saying to somebody, well, why don't you also take the omegas, not simply our skin care line? Astaxanthin is also a good source of quercetin, and probably that's become a lot more popular as a conversation over the last few years because it's a really powerful antioxidant. Countering the effects of stress on your cells. Love LifeMax, right? Look at all these things it does, right? 16 natural plant extracts to address the signs of aging. It's going to support cardiovascular health, as we know, healthy cell division. These are all approved statements by the company. So if you want to target in why would people want this? This is a really powerful product. And if you have been working with someone who is taking a larger quantity of the redox molecules, and maybe you're not seeing them kick to where they want to get to, add this one in. This makes a huge difference in the synergy of working together. And instead of just keep on pushing more and more and more redox, actually give it the material to work on in this high quality product. Helps the body have a healthy inflammatory response. It creates a robust immune support. That is a legal phrase for you to use, right? Creates a robust immune support. Metabolic support, cognitive function, mood balance. Again, you know, you compare this again, supporting with the mood from the cell performance, antioxidant activity, vision support, counters the effect of aging from the skin from the inside and outside. And there's some components in there that really do target skin works. Again, I love this if you're trying to put together a skincare subscription program. I think that this is part of it, you know, not just the skin that we products that we use. And what makes it unique, and why do people see a difference? We've done studies that show that we get this 32% increase in antioxidant level in the blood in 30 minutes that lasts for 24 hours. Now we can talk about what we get here. So here's a beautiful way to partner this with your redox. Visible results, astragalus. We've got the gotucola, which really cuts through into brain function. That's going to cross the blood-brain barrier, really help cognitive function. French cantaloupe, of course, we all know from the TV presentations on this one element alone, it has an enzyme that resists the breakdown of collagen and partners also again with our skincare products, right, to reduce the UV damage. So this is a really good one for skin. Vision support coming from the bilberry. High-end scientific studies are going to show us that we're going to help improve that gut-brain barrier again. So if you've got, again, the focus is off, the brain function is off, look at that gut, really support it from here. Powerful antioxidants that are going to support cardio health, healthy glucose reactions, and cognitive function. One of the things that makes it also very unique is another cutting edge way in which we manufacture. Taking something like these high-end mushrooms, these are amazing mushrooms. Lion's mane in itself, we could do a whole talk on just that one in itself because it's so powerful. But mushrooms are an adaptogen. Right? Why? Because they live in very fierce environments. They have to learn how to protect themselves. They have to adapt to their very aggressive environment that they naturally live in. So they have these beautiful adaptogenic methods that help us as a body respond and normalize. I love the mushrooms that can help the body take it from being out of balance and in excess to normal, or being under performing and regulate it back to normal. In other words, they don't push you where you don't need to go. They are wonderful in that way. And what we do here is we take these mushrooms and we use the nutrients to reinforce and give an even more powerful product by growing them on a medium of purple corn that pulls out all these highly absorbable vitamins and minerals, fats and amino acids, those proteins that we need, into the mushrooms, which then go into our product. But the actual proteins in the corn are not absorbed into the mushroom, and this is not allergy free because sometimes people have corn issues, and so this is safe from that perspective. I'm just going to finish with this last slide. A while back I sat down and said to myself, we got 16 amazing plant extracts here, right, in that one product alone. What are all the systems that each of those individual items support? Looks a bit like a crisscross of knitting here, but if you kind of follow, you'll see that, you know, green tea not only supports things like cardiovascular health, but cell division. It goes down and it supports things like metabolic health. You can follow it down to cognitive function. Just that one thing is going to affect 4 different areas, and these are on the right. These are all things that we are able to say this product supports. Right, so it's an amazing product. It's very complex, phenomenal value for what we have, and just any one of these things on their own, people will pay money for. But I'm going to stop it there and open up, and if there's any other questions that we have on that.
Yeah, fantastic. So let's just make it clear that the redox supplement is not about ingredients. It's about giving, you know, these molecules to the body and letting the body do what it's designed to do, which is, you know, heal itself at the cellular level. But the Asea Via line is all about ingredients.
Yes,
right. It's
absolutely.
all about taking these very specific things that are proven to do very specific things, and then target them at the skin, the vision, the inflammatory response, the immune system, et cetera, right?
Yeah, and I think this is just our precursor. I mean, we've had these for 4 years, but here's an example of the kind of mindset that ASEA had when they put these together, looking at what do those ingredients do? Well, how are they going to benefit the body? What is the synergy between them? And now we have them parlayed out in this beautiful delivery system for instant effect with the cell performance, but again, based on the same thing, picking proven, scientifically proven nutrients that can do specific things in a way that, you know, really benefits the body. So I think this is beautiful, but you're right. It's like thinking about our car, right? We can have the car, but if we think about the nutrients are really like having the gas in the tank, we have to have the gas as well as having the spark to use and to turn it on and to actually create the energy, which is what's happening in the cells. If we think, you know, these signals are burning the nutrients and the fats and the sugars to produce the energy and then produce these sparks. And it's like this cycle that goes around. You can't get one, you can't function with one without the other. We need both sides of it.
Right. So it explains if people are taking really high density nutrition, but they're not taking the redox signaling molecules, they're stuck at a certain point in their health, right? And on the other hand, if they are taking the redox signaling molecules, but their nutrient dense diet is lacking, then they might just not feel the results of the redox. So it's really key to have the labor, which is what's going to put all these materials to work. And if you look at all the nutrients that you just went over, it's like having the nails in the windows and the doors and everything you need to build a house. Every single material is critical to build the health that you're looking to build. And the molecules are what the labor that's going to put those materials to work, right?
Absolutely. And for the first 20 years or so, I'd been working in the nutrient side of it, and we'd get frustrated because you'd throw all these nutrients. And what I tell you is what I love about here, we have 4 and they're very comprehensive. So instead of, I'll give you 1 for the liver and 1 for the adrenals and 1 for the cognition and 1 for the diet and the digestion, and people, how many people have 10 to 20 things that they're taking and they don't get where they want to get to? That speaks to the missing link of the spark to do the work with the material. But as I've worked with this for the last 5 years, what I see is the other side, that I believe truly that when people are not moving where they want to get to as quickly as they want with the redox, it really speaks to the fact that, that you can have all these molecules hanging around, but if they've got nothing to work on, they still can't do the work, right? Because they are the catalysts who use the materials to create the outcome. I often think about, I had a description to somebody the other day, and I said, well, think of redox as like the referee on the side of the game, the football game, right? They blow the whistle to stop the game, to start the game, to give instructions, to tell the players how they're going to play, but they don't get on the court and play. The players play, and that's the materials. But you've got to have both sides of it, because without the conductor seeing where things need to go to, we don't get the outcome that we want. But it's both sides of it, and play with it. Add in the LifeMax pretty quickly if you're not feeling like you get to where you want to get to as fast. Especially if people are frustrated with, well, I've taken 8 ounces, I've taken 12 ounces, and I'm not seeing what I want to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, when you start to really study the different divisions that ASEA have put together, from the cell performance, the ASEA Via line, the redox signaling line, and the skincare line, and it's all based on redox principles. It's all meant to be synergistically working together, right? So there's critical components in each of the things that's going to highlight the rest. It's not going to fight against each other. They're going to really work towards each other. The other thing I wanted to say really quickly, and I know we're at the bottom of the half hour, is that I love that I can take these supplements on an empty stomach. I've never been able to do that. They've used to gag me. I'd feel just nauseous forever and ever. And I think it's because it's the whole foods. Is that why I can take them on an empty stomach?
Yeah, if you're feeling sick with supplements, that tells you that that's not something, that's a symptom your body's saying, no, thank you, I don't want that, right? Because your body's only designed to use food. It's not designed to take a synthetic version of a vitamin and do anything with it other than cause more toxicity. So we overload our system. So for people that are taking tons and tons of supplements, you need to be cautious about this. More is not better. And, quality is really paramount. Think very carefully about what we put in ourselves. Very carefully about what. Don't be any less cautious about what you're putting in the quality there than you would do your food. But if you eat at McDonald's, I guess you're probably not going to worry about it so much. But, that's. But yeah, it's really important to put good quality fuel in the body so that it can work. And just realize that the redox signals, to me, are the missing link that are going to amplify anything else that we're doing.
Absolutely. Carolyn, I love this presentation. I just love, you have so much to share, so much knowledge. Really, really appreciate you sharing with us tonight. When we could go on for hours, I'm sure, but we get the gist. It was real meat and potatoes. Really, really appreciate what you had to share. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Absolutely.
All righty. Well, hope you enjoyed it, everybody. Good night.